What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 36 of the Overview. I'm ChanManV, and joined here today by a lot of your favorite faces today. Fishstix, what's up?
Hey, wait, 36? Oh my god.
I know.
We're actually getting close to a year. That's
so we probably started this, about roughly a year ago. So we just missed 16 episodes. It's okay.
Here and there.
Technically, it's 37, right? There was one in there that we took down.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's the lost episode. So there was really 37. That's true. That's gonna be one of those collector's edition videos if we ever get to that point. Jason, what's up? Stop playing Clash Royale. Stop.
You have no proof that I'm playing it right now. Okay. You blame Mr. X for getting me addicted to it again.
Oh man. And Flame, how's it going, buddy?
Surrounded by casuals.
Surrounded by casuals. So what, man? So what? No. So today, guys, got lots of big news actually that's going on. Some Overwatch-related ones with awards and whatnot. So let's start off from a news standpoint, we'll start off with that. But of course, we'll start off with just our week in Overwatch, what we've been doing, and then talking about a lot of team news, big trade going on, probably the biggest trade news we've ever had in Overwatch esports. So going through that, lots of events coming up. MLG, IM, Korea, that's going to be happening in a couple weeks. So touch on that. MGA this weekend too, and then of course Apex finished up. So we got to talk about the finals and just the results of that. And at the end, we've got Q&A. We've got actually a couple email questions, which is awesome because a lot of folks that listen to it on iTunes don't get a chance, or listen to us on iTunes don't get a chance to send in their questions. So we got a couple from those folks. So we'll read those out. If you guys are watching live, you can post your questions either on Twitter, tweet those to @ChanManV, or go ahead and post those in Twitch chat whenever it comes time. All right, our week in Overwatch. So Season 3 started, and you guys, I'm assuming, finished all your placements. How are we looking right now? Everybody in Masters right now already? Legend?
Yes.
Legend? Top 500?
It's not even out yet, actually. Top 500.
Actually, that doesn't get established until a month? When does Top 500 actually come out?
It's probably not for like 2 more weeks.
2 more weeks? Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw somebody in a game the other day that had like 3,800 or 3,600 peak, and they were top 500 Season 2, so I think that they don't want that again.
Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I got top 500 last season from all the pros being over in Korea and having a chance to actually climb the ladder.
That's good. Well, I've heard that generally speaking on the ladder, people have been surprised that they're coming out of placements because it's generally lower. You remember how when Jeff was talking about just the distribution wasn't right or whatnot, so they've been trying to correct that. So I think a lot of folks...
So actually, I'm a little bit confused right now about some of the placements that I got personally, and I know some of my coworkers, we've been talking about it. In the blog post, Jeff Kaplan said that people were in general going to place lower than they were expecting, but he also said it's because too many people were in gold and plat and not enough people were in silver and bronze when they probably should have been. But I think the thing that they left out, at least my assumption here, is that also the higher tiers were smaller than they thought, I think. Because the reason I think this is because I had some shit placements. I went 3 wins, 6 losses, and a tie, and I basically lost like no SR. I lost like less than 40 SR from that. And then since I finished my placements, I've been gaining like 40 to 45 SR every win and only losing like 25 SR every loss.
The dream.
So like the matchmaking is obviously trying to push me like higher than I was before, even though I did poorly in placements, and like it's basically giving me way more for every win. So like my guess here, I don't know if you guys have this same experience. Well, obviously I'm a little lower than like Flame. I don't know about Jason, but but yeah, to me it seems like they're trying to just flatten out the bell curve in general and just like distribute more people into both the lower tiers and the higher tiers. I think that's what's going on right now. That's the only way I can explain my current situation right now.
So like, okay, so when I met with, this was like at PAX, and PAX was like, I don't know, that feels like it was forever ago.
It was a while ago,
7 months.
Yeah.
It was like before Ranked was even out, and like when the game was in beta. I was talking to Nate about, or maybe it was Kiki, I don't remember who it was. But I think that the idea was more or less that they wanted like the top 500 to like actually mean something. Like Season 2 and 3 top 500, like it was better to have a Grandmaster icon than to have a top 500 icon. Because you could have top 500 at like 3,800, 3,900, but Grandmaster was obviously better. So you would show up as like top 500 on the scoreboard, but in reality, you'd rather show up as whatever, Grandmaster. So I think they're trying to push. I mean, I definitely think that they're trying to like spread out the graph, but I think it's mostly because they want more people at the top so that the top 500 becomes more meaningful and people will stop worrying about so much about ranks as much as they will like where they sit on the ladder. Because I mean, I think it's weird though that Grandmaster's 4,000, because I agree, like my placements went pretty bad, but I still wound up with like 42-ish at the end, and obviously people are hitting 45 now and 46, so it's doable to like climb, but I think that they should start adding more ranks or something. I don't know, it feels weird though, because people are definitely getting placed higher than they were last year, and people are like inflated their egos a little bit. It's like you get these like
well, Evermore's at 5,000 SR.
Yeah, I mean he's a
5,000 really?
Picker, though.
He peaked. You can't go any higher.
Wow.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean he was the highest, and then they made Roadhog. I mean Roadhog is Overwatch right now, so
yeah,
it only makes sense for him to be the first person at 5,000.
What about you, Jason? How's it been going for you?
I've experienced a lot of people. I mean, basically what you're saying, who are being pushed higher that shouldn't necessarily be pushed higher. Like I've had games, and by the way, at 4,200, thank you very much, Fishstix, where we've had people in like season 1 get like rank 50, and like season 2 cap at 3,500, but now they're 4,200. Like I don't understand sometimes how they got pushed higher, and these are people who just like literally are playing with their feet sometimes. Well, like I don't understand.
I mean, the other thing too is though, I mean, I was thinking about this because I've had some really awful games the past 2 days. Like I apologize to anyone that's watched me stream in the past 2 days, but like the issue too is that a lot of players climbed using like Genji, McCree, and like they were like one-trick McCree pickers, one-trick Genji players, like
a lot of one-trick Zaryas,
Maze, even sometimes, and now it's like nope. So it's kind of, even people that are ranked higher should be lower, I guess, because now they can't, like their heroes are just not playable or like working. So then they're dropping. Meanwhile, like the people who were AFK picking Diva last season who only got to 36 are now climbing really fast. And it's like, I think everything's a little screwed up, but I feel like it'll be screwed up for at least another couple weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know how they fix it.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna it's gonna normalize, and yeah, I mean, we have to definitely give it a few weeks, and that's why the top 100 doesn't come out anyway. Top 500 doesn't come out for. I thought it was a month, but I guess it's less than a month. But we'll have to see how that turns out. What?
I don't know about you guys, but I am goddamn tired of seeing Diva, Roadhog, Reinhardt every freaking game. And then on my team, I always have like the guy who insta-pick Genjis, insta-pick Soldier, and then there's a McCree in there too, leaving us one tank and barely 2 supports.
Yep.
Like, Jesus.
Look, Misfits can do it. Why can't your
Misfits
random
can
solo
do it.
queue team?
And Misfits can do it.
Well, the old Misfits
is for half a map, dude. I guess that works. Yeah.
I mean, I also think I actually hate that argument because people keep bringing up on Reddit and stuff. It's like Fnatic is not tank players. Like Fnatic running triple tank is not like that's not a thing, and they were never good at it. So like. If Misfits comp working against the Fnatic's triple tank is not as good as like running against Nips or something. It's like, ugh. Do it against Himsy, man.
But how about Diva? You guys happy with Diva the way she is right now? Because I feel like Diva's just wrecking on ladder right now, and people are getting tired of it.
I don't feel like she's wrecking. I just feel like she's like a fly that you just can't kill around you all the time.
That's what I mean.
Like she can do damage, yeah, but like my experience, it's not like she's killing my whole team. It's more of like you can't kill her. So you always have to like attack her to get her to, shoo off. You have to brush her away, and then she comes back and just attacks you again a few seconds later. She's just so much freaking HP and armor. Like
that's what I mean. Damn. You can't kill her.
The issue is that like it's so weird because you pick her and you feel overpowered, then you pick 76 and you'll like 1v1 divas. You just drop your heal station and then like you just stand there and it becomes like this really awkward face off where like you shoot. She puts up the thing, the matrix, you stop shooting, she puts up the matrix again, and then like the heal station runs out, and then you both like run around and you have to run away, she has to chase you.
Yeah.
Like I hate that interaction, and it happens so often. And I don't know. It's like she's too good because of like what she's like. She can get hooked and not die. I mean, that's one of her actual greatest strengths. And
But you have to hook her. You have to play Roadhog when you're playing
and then
against
you have
her.
to
So
you have to
it's
wind
like-
up in the spot where the Reinhardt shield's down, but now the Diva Matrix is up, and then the vice versa is true, and nobody's actually doing damage, nothing dies, and then it comes down to like these crazy Ana nukes and hooks and like.
Well, also like a problem with her is that she makes Reinhardt possible at the moment because of defense matrix. Like I've basically been forced to play Reinhardt mostly, and you just can't keep a shield up ever. But you have a Roadhog, a Soldier, and a Diva that's shooting at you, so you need a Diva to like assist you to buy time for your shield to recharge or to protect your team in the meantime, because your teammates are running around with their heads cut off. Like. And obviously in pro play it's a little bit different, but in ladder play it's frustrating.
And you still need the Reinhardt because a Diva can't solo tank. That takes away like half of the benefits of playing Diva if she just had to sit there and like matrix for everybody the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, there's also this like hidden aspect that I think people aren't acknowledging or thinking about is that like if you're not running Diva, you're just getting nano boost slower. Like you're getting ult slower on your supports, and support ults are kind of incredible. So by not running tanks, you're arguably denying your healers ult charge, and like that's another big thing I think too. Like every time you don't kill that Diva, you assume that the enemy Ana got like an extra 30% nano boost.
That's a good point. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe even think about nerfing ults for support characters just a little bit more.
I would actually like it if they were percentage based, to be honest.
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Like
We've been
10%
talking about
HP
that
on Tracer would
forever.
be the
Yeah,
same
we
ult
have
as
been talking
10%
about
on
that.
Diva. But whatever.
Yeah.
See, I've been enjoying Zenyatta actually. Like towards the beginning of the season, I was playing a lot of Zen or even towards the end of last season, just because everyone's playing tanks, you can kill everyone. Like as long as you don't get hooked. And if you're like a decent enough level of Zenyatta, if there's a Tracer, then you can kill the Tracer for the most part. If the Tracer's not like God level, like Soon or something. Even the same with Genji. So like Zenyatta is ridiculously strong. It's just that people don't play him. They see Ana Lucio and like, all right, we have to play Ana Lucio. But like Lucio Zenyatta is still ridiculously strong. You can't burst heal someone who gets hooked in like a Diva, but you can shred through everyone. Like a Roadhog, if he's not behind the Reinhardt shield, and if you can control where he goes, he melts like butter.
He does die to Diva pretty easily though. Like if Diva rushes you, it's like, you know, Ana can put people to sleep. Ana can like grenade bomb and get out of there, but Zenyatta just dies. So I think that's the biggest difference. His Discord's amazing though right now. Like with all these tanks, I mean that's probably the only way you can melt him sometimes. Especially with Diva. Diva fires so fast that tanks just melt. So I definitely see what you mean. I play him all the time on King of the Hill maps, but on payload maps I never touch him for whatever reason.
I've been liking King of the Hill so much more lately because it feels like you can actually get away with these less standard picks a lot easier, at least to me.
Yep.
Compared to payload, of course.
I think that's who you run into, Jason, on some of your teams. Those guys are ranking up playing King of the Hill maps, and they suck hard on the payload hybrid maps.
And even CP maps are still so like annoying. I remember I was literally just watching Siegel playing Hanamura, and they had everyone on the final point attacking, and 5 minutes went by of them in contention and not actually capping the point, and then they actually lost.
I tied
they
6
drew on the
games
map.
yesterday.
Yeah, there you I
You tied 6 games? Oh
Literally,
my God.
I played like I don't know how many I played. I tied 6. Like I have never been more demoralized in my life. And some of them were like clutch wins or like clutch where like you'll go May on last on Anubis or something, and you're like, yep, you're not capping.
Okay, so would you rather lose or tie games?
I'd rather win.
Okay.
Good answer.
Bring back the
All
coin
right.
flip for
The coin flip?
Capture
Oh,
points,
Bob,
yeah.
please don't. Never do that again. All right, guys. Well, why don't we move on to some news, some Overwatch news. And the beginning of the week was, or at least the end of last week, was a very big night for Overwatch. We had the Game Awards show that happened on Twitch, and I think everybody was basically streaming the awards show and doing their own commentary because Twitch gave the go-ahead to do that. So lots of folks were doing that, and Overwatch had a huge, huge night, winning the biggest award of the night, Game of the Year, as well as Best Esport of the Year, Best Multiplayer Game of the Year, Best Game Direction also. And got to see some of our favorites up there giving speeches too, and amazing speeches. Jeff in particular, I loved his speech. But what do you guys think of the award show? Ben?
It was super fun. I love watching content like that with Twitch chat. It makes it so much more entertaining
Yeah.
to just see how everyone
Clap.
responds. Yeah. All of the memes, all the reactions. It really does feel like you're watching with a bunch of people, because you are. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Overwatch won Game of the Year, and it's totally warranted. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, that wasn't a surprise.
Best-selling PC game of all time, just behind Minecraft, and it came out just a couple months ago. So obviously, it's got the player base there, but beyond the player base, I really, really, really loved Ray Gresco's acceptance speech at the end. He basically just talked to the audience and said, it's been a weird year, and Overwatch, what we're proud of is like not just the game being successful and all the developers' hard work, paying off, but what we're really, really proud about is that diversity and optimism was such a core theme in this game, and that we're hoping that this game brings optimism to people in this very strange year that has been 2016, as well as like shows diversity and represents diversity. So yeah, that part like really struck a chord with me, honestly. So big shout outs to that.
No, that was a great speech, actually. And we are always joking, and we're definitely on this show about just some of the messages in Overwatch, but in the end it is something to feel good about, just this game. There's nothing about this game that has negativity in it. You know what I mean? Like, the most negative we have is just the fact that there are two fighting factions. But other than that, I think generally the Overwatch message is a very, very good one. Jason, did you watch the awards?
I
can't wait for this.
So no.
Oh,
Didn't get to see it.
oh my gosh.
Haven't had it since August. Won't have it till next year.
God, I can't believe you're doing a great job of promoting moving to Germany, man.
Yeah, everyone did. It's great.
It's a great place.
Yeah. Flame, you watch it?
Yeah. I guess I wanted to talk about. This is like off topic, I guess, but there were so many games that came out this year that tried to compete for like it was just so stupid. Like
Paladins is amazing.
No, not even. It's not even just Paladins though. There were like 5 games.
There
were.
Paladins,
There was.
Does anyone remember Battleborn?
Nobody even remembers
Battleborn.
Battleborn.
Wait. There was Paragon.
Yeah.
There was. I feel like there was
Gigantic.
There was Gigantic.
I don't even remember Gigantic.
Like all of these great studios were like, oh, let's just not like make a game. Let's just compete. Let's not make our own game.
There's
compete.
also Lawbreakers too, which is probably going to come out
Exactly.
sometime
Like
next
all
year.
these games that were
Battle
so
Cry?
huge. And then there's Quake. There's the Quake one coming out. There's like Quake with Tracer.
That's different
Quake
enough.
Champions. Yeah, but they have like spells now in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
It's like their
yeah.
competition. I feel like just bit themselves in the butt.
Well,
with, like, all of these.
Yeah, you could have, instead of competing with them, they just went outright and tried to
I would have been down
copy
for
Overwatch
4,
stuff.
dude. Like I don't know. That's I guess I was going with that. Like there was no. It was such a unanimous decision. I feel like the only game other than Overwatch that I've like actually enjoyed playing this year was Doom, and I think that won something, but that game was so good. But again, it came out like the exact same time, so nobody really got. It didn't get as much of a what's it called, like a reception as it probably could have.
No, critics have loved Doom though. Yeah, Doom's an excellent game. There's no.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just meant like the only reason why I remember playing it is because I think it came out during like one of the breaks in competitive or something. I think that there was like a whatever.
Or the breaks in the beta. It was
season,
during
a season 2-week break or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a fantastic year. Like Ben said, I don't think it was a surprise to anybody that it would win. It did win Eastward of the year though. That was kind of surprising to me. I don't know about you guys, but given that's so new and we don't even have the league announced and established yet, or at least the details.
You could make an argument there because at Twitch I look at numbers all day. I'm obsessed with numbers, viewership numbers particularly, and almost every esport has actually either plateaued or has started to decline slightly in viewership on Twitch. Obviously, I'm biased towards this one metric, but if you're looking for purely from a growth perspective, you could make that argument. But obviously, there's a lot more to it than just growth. Like, obviously, it's not the biggest esport yet. So I don't know. It's kind of a weird one, but You
A
can
lot of
argue
hype.
for it.
Definitely a lot of hype.
It depends on what the
momentum.
criteria was. If it was like they looked at the growth, like percentages against like whatever, I don't know. There's definitely some categories where it definitely had like highest improvement, right? Because it started at the bottom and then find its way to wherever it is
0 to 9. Yeah, from nothing to something.
Literally
is
infinity
huge.
growth
Yeah,
this year.
That's right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I find it weird that actually you got the esports of the year when you've only had the game out for like less than a year and there's only
Right.
been a handful of tournaments. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy you got it. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just I thought someone like Counter-Strike
Yeah.
or Dota 2, when you had the international be such a great success, you had League of Legends, like the biggest viewership it's ever had was like 14 or 16 million concurrent, like peak concurrent. Like, I'm not saying Overwatch didn't deserve it, but like for being such a new game, it's hard for me to call it like the esport of the year so far when you have all these other great titles.
Yep, agreed.
Was that one fan voting? I can't remember if it was by a panel or if it was fan voting on that one. If it was fan voting, that makes a lot of sense.
Even if it was fan voting, there's a lot more League of
Depends on who
Legends
votes, right? It
esport
depends on
fans, right?
What's it called? The demographic is
Yeah.
who vote.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually if that was a popular vote or not. But best multiplayer game, not surprised. Best game director, that's awesome. Game direction for Jeff and crew, because
Keep them out for Harambe.
yeah,
Keep 'em out.
keep 'em out for Harambe. Good stuff. All right, another bit of just general news is that Korea. There was an article about Korea passing a bill to put Overwatch hackers or people just that hack video games in general in jail, which is for folks that might not realize why we're talking about this. Hacking in Korea is a big issue right now. A lot of people. I think we've even touched on it maybe a couple weeks or a couple of the previous episodes. So this is just taking it to another level that the South Korean government is going to step in, and if you are caught hacking a game, you're going to be put in jail for I think 5 years or 43,000 in fines is what it says. So at least that's one way to fix the hacking. I don't know. See us putting hackers in jail here in the U.S. I don't know about you guys, but
I didn't realize it was hackers get sent to jail. I thought it was hack manufacturers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
manufacturers.
it's hacking programs. You're right. Hacking
Yeah.
program makers and aimbotters
Yeah.
and what aimbot makers. And
That would
stuff.
be insane. Like, oh, you hacked in Overwatch. You're in jail for
Oh,
5
God.
years. Oh my god.
No, what's scary about that is you have to use like your social security number in Korea to even like
That's
play,
true.
like for instance, League of
That's true.
Legends. Like they can find you so easily.
Yeah, I mean,
But it also
go
means
ahead.
things other than hacks, right? I mean, anything that is not allowed by the terms of service is quite a vague statement.
Yeah, but
That's true.
that's how you make something,
Yeah,
right?
but
I don't
there's,
know.
there's a lot of people that make macros. I mean, they make totally benign scripts or whatnot. I bet, and that's going to be illegal too. Like if you get caught doing
Yeah.
that, you
Yeah.
fall into the same bucket.
Send them all to jail. Do not.
Yeah, anyway, whatever.
Get 'em
We're
out.
happy.
Like,
Yeah.
we're not sympathizers. here.
It's true. When I do run into hackers on the NA ladder, there's like they're Korean like 90% of the time.
Racist.
Wow.
You have no proof those
Okay.
are Korean
It's
character.
true.
Those could be
Damn.
Chinese.
Yeah, they
You
could
just
be
assume
true.
they're race.
You just assume.
I thought
Oh,
we just talked about Overwatch being like this all inclusive type of
I'm sorry,
game,
I'm sorry.
and now we're
Look,
talking
it's true.
about it's always Korean. Jeez, man.
It's true.
Fired.
I mean, I could say something like that about Ragers in Europe, but I'm not gonna call them out. You know.
Okay,
No.
never mind. I'm just gonna quit. We're behind.
Anyways, it's
Ugh.
great to see South Korea, being proactive about it, and hopefully we can do. Maybe I don't see us doing something of this extreme here, but it would be nice to definitely crack down on these aimbotter and hacking program makers over here in NA too. All right, esports news. Okay, so I thought the big news coming into the show before yesterday was going to be, Misfits disbanded. What the heck, right? After DreamHack and whatnot, and that was going to be a big deal. But then we hear about this huge 3-team trade between Rogue, Misfits, and Luminosity yesterday. And then, a lot of stuff started making sense after that because, of course, a team that just won DreamHack and didn't really hear that much about a lot of clashing or whatnot going on, broke up. But the reason is that there was just, obviously just a organized 3-team trade, which is difficult to pull off. I mean, it's difficult to pull off in any sport, but this one seemed to go fairly smoothly and make sense for all three teams. So,
okay, I can't go too in depth about it, but I have confirmation of what I can and can't say.
Okay. All right.
This was not like a setup like, yeah, let's just do a 3-team switch. Let's just go for it kind of thing.
Okay.
There was definitely some problems in some teams.
Yeah.
And there was definitely reasoning for some of the players leaving some of these teams. It just happened to work out best for everyone if they swap teams like this. For instance, like I can point out one person in particular, like Tvik. Like I know he had tons of offers. Like while I was still in Rogue, he had tons of offers for so many top teams. I was told by him I can't actually say the names, but he decided, and this is what gives me a lot of faith in Misfits, that he did not want to go to those teams. He wanted to make his own Swedish team. So for me, that's like him really being bold and cocky, saying that he knows the team he can create will be better than the team he could join.
Well,
wow. Okay.
I will also say things that all right.
I will also say anything.
But I was gonna say I've heard rumors about the some of the money figures on some of these teams, and it's like European Overwatch is where to be right now if the numbers are like good. But I want to say that it was this whole thing was kind of awkward to me because like you could tell which teams wanted the deals and which ones didn't, based on like their Twitter responses.
Right.
Like if you look at, I mean, like whatever, maybe people are gonna get mad that I say this, but if you look at the Rogue Twitter, it's like a going away party for Tvik and Reinforce, not like a welcome to the team for Soon and Skipjack. And I find that really awkward. Well, so like you could tell kind of that like
I see what you mean though. Yeah.
If I was gonna imply anything from that, it would be that Tvik and Reinforce, or Tvik obviously wanted to leave Rogue, and then that was like I feel like that started this whole circle here.
Well, and also Tvik was like the captain, like he was the main guy for the team in terms of like the contracts and all that. Yeah, publicity, the contracts. Like he was the guy that pretty much controlled the team. Like he had like the final say and stuff, like with the organization and with the team. So like they lost like someone who was really, I think, dear to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not saying like Tvik was like a giant asshole and like I'm the last guy I get to say whatever, but he actually respected the organization a lot, respected his team a lot, and it's a big loss for Rogue to have someone like that who's so dedicated on performing and making sure that his team like performs well.
Well, let's talk about the specifics actually before we keep going, because we didn't get a chance to. All right, so like the trade was basically Tvik and Reinforce go from Team Rogue to Misfits, swapping with Soon and Skipjack. So it's just like a two swap there. Crew and Hidan go to Luminosity, and then Zave and Manitons goes to Misfits. That's that. There's obviously additions to some of these teams too, with this trade. It's not just purely just swapping players. So what you end up with is a Rogue team that's mostly French. I think 5 out of the 6 are French players.
Yeah. And
then Misfits is completely a Swedish team now. And then Luminosity is just a hodgepodge of all kinds of players from different regions. And the way it was spun, it was that it was, had a lot to do with just, trying to consolidate regions and have folks from common backgrounds together and, communication wise or whatnot, just, making everything efficient, from that standpoint. Obviously a little bit underneath things, there were some personality clashes going on too. But yeah, I mean, okay, we can continue now. I just wanted to make sure we get that through there. Ben?
I mean, I feel like the best way to go about it is talk about the current teams now and like a strength or weakness they could have. Because looking at Misfits, like just to start things off, god damn, that's a scary team. Having Zebasai, Nevix, and Tvik who could all flex so well, that is, I mean, part of the language, fucking scary. Like we saw Zebasai DreamHack, like his Widowmaker was really questionable at one point in the very beginning, but once he got going, it was insane. Nevix, flexing from support to DPS, playing was he rank 1 at some point in season 2 or 1 it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tvik, he literally can play anything. Like this is a ridiculously scary team.
Yeah, I was posting a little bit about this on Reddit. Just thinking about a DPS combo, like the core DPS combo of potentially Tvik and Nevix, who can both play any character. You can't call them, neither of them are hit scan or projectile. They could both do both. We saw Nevix play a fair amount of Genji in the past for Misfits prior roster, but that's something that Tvik has on lock. So it's really hard to know like who's going to fit into what roles. In fact, I think we're just going to see this team very dynamically swap around to approach each individual match, each individual map, each individual opponent.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right about that. I think they're flexible enough to adapt to any kind, like majority of the metas that probably have taken place in the last few months or whatnot. Flame, you could probably confirm or deny that. But one thing I did hear from Tavik was that Nevix is not going to be playing DPS. Actually, he's going to be playing support.
That was what I was about to mention. Someone told me on Reddit that
yeah.
Nevix is switching to a support role. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, but look at Harry Hook, right? Like, look at Envious with Harry Hook.
Yeah,
like, Soldier becomes really meta, and then look at him playing DPS with Soldier.
But yeah, people are saying Nevix is going to be support and Manitins will be on DPS as primarily hit scan. But I think ultimately you're just going to see this team flex around a lot. Like they can all play basically everything. I feel like Reinforce is the only person on this team. Maybe Reinforce and Zave are the only people on this team that really have super solidified roles. Everyone else can flex. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Flame, what do you think?
I mean, everything you've said is true, right? But I think on the whole, it's going to be interesting to see if anyone switches after this. Like, I don't think that this is the end. I would say like Misfits is probably solidified, but I'm actually curious as to whether or not Rogue or LG makes any more changes. Like, whether or not this was solely for like contract buyout purposes, like if they were like trying to save money by like pulling each other out of different contracts on both teams as opposed to like forcing buyouts, and then whether or not they plan on keeping the rosters that they have now or whether or not they'll work from an internal standpoint. Teams, like, because I don't think every team, I can't imagine that all three teams were for this, so I wonder if there's any players left that are like, why am I being traded? I don't want to be traded here. And then, like, I don't know how that's going to work, because if you're going to LG, you're going straight to NA. Like, that's it.
LG seemed to be the place where everybody got put.
Yeah, and Rogue's on their way to Vegas, and like if you were on the old Misfits, you were never planning on coming to NA, or it wasn't in your foreseeable future. So I don't know. I'm curious about what that's going to lead to down the road.
I mean, also if you're the orgs, like obviously you want your players to be happy, but if you're Misfits, like you want Overwatch Open, you want DreamHack. If you're Rogue ownership, you won APAC, you won Gamescom, you did really well at Apex. Like, you don't want to lose your teams that were performing so well and that everyone kind of, affiliated the players with your organization, and then now that all switches.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Luminosity.
Any semblance of what's the word? Because this keeps happening too. People are like putting out power rankings all the time, and I'm like, first of all, the meta changed, so your power rankings are worthless, and then now the rosters are swapping, so your power rankings are even more worthless. So everything kind of gets reset. If I'm Envy right now, I'm like, number one,
exactly.
Right? Like all of our competition just.
Well, they were in a shakeup not too long ago. It's just their shakeup worked out great for them. So it's only been like a couple weeks now.
Oh yeah, I mean Misfits, Rogue. I mean they all have really good rosters now. Like that Rogue team is actually really good. Skipjack is a huge.
Well, let's take a look at the Rogue team here.
Rogue.
Yeah.
Rogue could be just as scary as Misfits. I mean, this team is insane. Like, we were shouting Soon's praises last week for like 10 minutes straight. Just like Tracer. This guy's Tracer is insane. But AKM, we've seen him play incredibly well with Hitscan, and then recently he's been playing really well with the Pharah. I was going to say the Pharahs of the world, but with Pharah, not so much Genji. So they have a great core DPS background. And Skipjack, of course, we've known him as one of the top Reinhardts in Europe for a long time. Nox, a very adept Lucio. I would say Unko is like in the running for one of the best Anas in the West, period. So like this Rogue squad is almost equally as stacked.
Yeah. So I ran into them in ranked like today. And they were 6 rank queue, and apparently FaZe canceled scrims on them, and they got.
I hope you were streaming this, Jason.
I was actually.
Oh, you were
at twitch.tv/Jason Kaplan. And first of all, we took first point ball Sky on them, so I'll take that. I'll take credit for that. I charged Skipjack more times than he charged me.
Oh wow!
Actually, Soon was playing the Genji, and AKM was playing Tracer when they ran it. And then they obviously did switch later on. But yeah, to see Soon, like who's renowned for being a Tracer player and doing so well at DreamHack, to be playing the Genji now is gonna be interesting. I feel bad for Skipjack though. Like, not in terms of like him joining a top team, but if him join a team team that all speaks French. Like when I no, because when I would see, like when I saw Rogue in China and saw Rogue here, most of the time it was just French. Like they would speak English when they played, but like outside of game, there was just French. And if you're the outsider of your team coming into that, it's just like, well, I don't understand anything you guys are saying, so I can't contribute anything to this conversation. It's going to be tough, and hopefully, like the team does facilitate that transition.
Apparently, he's taking lessons.
Oh yeah, he is taking lessons. That's right. I saw that in the article. That's right.
I don't know that there is a more stand-up guy in Overwatch right now. After watching his like video or whatever, and I ran into him at BlizzCon too, but he just seems like he's just like a nice person. Like, you like want to walk up to him and just be like, hey, because he's just such a nice person. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But
no, it's not just you. It's true. He is. Yeah, he has like very kind eyes.
Yeah, he just looks like someone that you want to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm excited, but again, that was kind of what I was hinting at before. It's like, is this going to work out? Are they going to want to keep these rosters? Is it only some of these teams that want to? Swaps?
Also, no offense to Skipjack, but it would be pretty cool if like they built an entirely French roster too. I can't think of no French tank main is popping into my head.
Trauma.
Trauma?
You guys probably never heard of him.
Yeah, I
but
never
he's
heard
like
of
a Reinhardt only player. He's
Really?
pretty good, but no, he probably wouldn't be joining.
Yeah, I mean,
I know. GMX from Counter Strike was previously playing on a team. Then he got like kicked off recently. The guy who was match fixing in Counter Strike. You've got who's the other? There's a StarCraft player. There's a really well-known French StarCraft player that's been playing on a couple teams as well.
Really?
Stefano.
No.
Stefano
that would be fucking epic. Holy shit.
If I can find it.
I would die
like
for
that.
that. I would die for that. That would be amazing.
I would like that a lot.
But they're going to Korea, so they have to play at least another tournament. Like they're stuck for at least 2 weeks, regardless, right? So that's kind of cool or good, I guess. But we'll see what.
Little Bo, thank you, Little Bo.
Lil Bo's playing?
Yeah, he's been playing a lot.
Holy shit! I mean, I heard he was, but I didn't realize he was so good. Wow, that's awesome.
I mean, Civic had his name on the tip of his tongue, so maybe he knows something we don't. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, why don't we talk about Luminosity? We gotta give all three a little bit of love here, of course. So yeah, here's the roster for Luminosity. What do you guys think? Lots of new players, man. This roster's almost been completely made over.
I haven't seen much of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we really haven't heard much from LG recently. When this team was first founded after the old LG roster switched to LG, they picked up a European team that was at the time doing very well, taking maps, if not series, off some of the best teams in Europe and the world. Since then, we really haven't seen much from this LG squad. That was, Icefelt and Mineral are the two that are sticking from the old LG. But okay, of course, Hit On and Crew join. And then we've got two players that I don't know much about at all. Spree and Super Plo.
Yeah, Super Plo was the most recent ad before the trade.
So I don't know. This one's a big question mark for me, but I will say, if anything, it's good to see a shakeup because they were clearly performing under where they had in the past. So good to see them trying new things. And we have seen a lot of Hit On and Crew in the past. We know that they're very, very talented players. I would imagine that I'm guessing we're going to see Crew settle into some sort of DPS role. Ice felt really known for his DPS, his hit scan, primarily Tracer and McCree. So I'd imagine, we've seen Crew play fair in the past. So I'd imagine we see him settle into
World Cup he was playing
some
DPS.
kind of I imagine we see him play some kind of projectile DPS.
I just want to point out Heaton plays on the most ridiculous resolution I've ever seen in my life. Him and Cabal play on like black bars that are more than like 50% of their screen.
Really?
They do just the 4x3.
It's like black bar on top. It's like
wow.
On top?
It's like this much black here, like
What?
this much black here, and then there's just like this little screen. It hurts my eyes. But no, I think Crew would definitely be playing probably DPS in that one, if not Flex again. His Zarya is really good. I don't know, like you can't ever count him out of being like a main Zarya player for the team, except with Zarya not really being played as much anymore.
Right.
I think Icefeld's still really good. But like also, whatever happened to R tier? Because I think when I see Icefeld, I think of R tier, and he still hasn't joined the team yet.
Yeah, still teamless.
There's a lot of people just like hiding, like waiting. I don't know what
It's
they're
true.
waiting for.
Yeah,
but
hopefully they don't
they're
wait too
there.
long because
Yeah,
it's
they're
gonna be
waiting. I don't know what
happening
they're
soon.
waiting for, but one
Yeah.
day they'll come
So
back.
you think any of this takes into account just the fact that there's going to be obviously World Cup events too, and hell, you might as well combine the teams as well as try to make a national team out of this.
Well,
And-
yeah, I don't know. It's weird because they're all moving to NA anyway.
yeah.
So
Well, okay, that's a good point too. But you know
Like,
they're playing together.
coincidence?
They're playing together.
Who knows? Maybe the players and the owners are trying to think like ultra long term here. Like, let's say the OW League really kicks off, and then we all of a sudden we have a Paris team and we have a Stockholm team, and maybe that's where we're going. Like,
Yeah.
That would be amazing. In that future
They're all
vision,
just boarding in
2018,
NA.
2019, or whatever. When there are actual city teams in those types of locations, that's a pretty sick vision. I like that.
I mean, I really hate being an EU right now because of all this. Like doing tournaments, they're gonna be like all NA, so I can't really cast them.
Is any of that like really confirmed? I don't know.
Well, I mean, with all the best teams like trying to move to NA and all I ideally
first-
wanting to go to NA, it's like
But who's
being a
I
European
don't know
team.
who's like actually going. Who has like a solid date? I don't know. I think it's. I
The
don't
first
think anyone
season's going to be
really
NA
knows yet.
only,
the
right? I mean,
ones
that's
that
what they
aren't
have
here yet,
said.
or that I can think of is what's it called? Not Rogue, Misfits,
Misfits,
and
yeah.
Nip.
NIP.
And
Yeah.
Nip's not here.
I mean, as far as like the top teams, I mean, I'm sure there are other European teams. I'm not bad mouthing anybody, but as far as like the top, like the main powerhouses of Europe right now, those two aren't here yet, but I would expect them to be.
There you go. January full time. Rogue goes. Heard it from Frank.
Oh, we got the owner of Rogue in chat,
Nice.
and we've
What's
also
up,
got
Frank?
Vic in chat.
Of course, the Vic's here. Good
Shout
job.
out
We
to
got
everybody who shows up for the live show.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, definitely gonna be interesting to see, and generally, it feels like it's something good for all three teams. You know, for whatever reason, I think it's going to be pretty exciting to see these teams playing in the near future. And speaking of which, speaking of playing soon, it sounds like Misfits and Rogue are going to be in Korea, which Jason, you're going to be casting that, right?
Yeah.
Don't touch. That's disgusting. That is. I'm so glad that like you cut off part of his webcam.
Wait, hold on. Let me get a little higher.
A little bit higher. Yeah, much higher.
I
I
have
mean.
cams all on. You want to know?
No, let's talk about IEM Korea
no.
and.
So actually, since I ran into Rogue earlier, I actually told them I'm purposely going to give them a bad seed coming into the tournament,
oh god.
so they get kicked out first.
Good
first
thing
game
it's not your job to
because-
seed the teams.
or is it?
Uh,
Yeah, no, I actually can't wait to see them play. Like, I think it's gonna be tough for them both to make it through like the first Korean team that they have to play most likely. I'm not confirming or denying any of the seeding of this,
right.
but I don't know. It's like that's the toughest challenge I think you can give any of these teams, other than playing against Envious, like right off the bat, to see how well they're gonna play together. And like with having like an all Swedish team and then having practically an all French team with Skip, Jack, even learning French, like. These are big opportunities for them to really kind of give a name to their team now.
So
Wait,
first,
let's take a step
ahead.
back.
Go ahead,
Let's
Ben.
talk about the teams. The six
yeah,
teams.
let's talk about the
Yeah,
teams.
okay. We can
Well,
go to that.
well, first off, just to sum up, just for those of you that don't know, the tournament is for 100,000 prizes pool, and it's the same in Korea, and same weekend as MLG. So we'll talk about MLG again in a few minutes. But first off, how do you pronounce the city?
Gyeonggi.
Gyeonggi. Okay.
I mean, there's a Korean way to
Gyeonggi.
say it. That's probably.
I mean, I just been calling it IEM Korea because I can't pronounce that. But Jason, you're going to be casted, so how do you pronounce that, dude?
Whoa, that's not been announced, confirmed at all.
Okay. Man. You work
yeah,
for
I'll be
IEM,
casting
all
it.
right.
I don't
You
know how
work-
to say it.
You work
You
for
kidding me?
ESL and you're not doing MLG, so
Exactly.
I have no idea how to say it. No, I have to learn. I mean, we had Mr. X saying
keep
Youngshiping,
professional.
saying it as like Jokaping while we were there. Because he just didn't know how to say it, didn't care to say.
Oh, man,
no, I
I'm
have
just
no
going
idea. I'll
Zavi
learn,
saves.
obviously.
So we'll call it Genji. I like this guy's idea. I am Genji.
But
like
I mean, AF Blue, Lunatic High, Kongdu
Yeah.
Panthera,
Here we go.
LW Red, going to see them on land, going to see Pine again. I know Mitch is going to have a giant
Awesome
Craig
guy,
over
dude,
him.
the
when he gets to
original
cast-
Miro.
The original Miro, Misfits Rogue. Like it's going to be insane. Like that's going to be probably some of the best. I like to say it's some of the best Overwatch action you can see like all year long. Like paired with MLG, all the NA teams, paired with Apex. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think the take home for Overwatch fans is stock up on Gatorade, Pop Tarts, snacks. You're not going to be leaving your house this weekend.
That's true.
Not this one, the next weekend, with both MLG and I Am Youngie, both for 100K. We're going to see Rogue and Misfits playing for the first time with their new roster. We're going to once again see how EU shakes up against Korea. We're going to see how NA shakes up against one another. So many good storylines going into this weekend. It's basically an extravaganza of Overwatch. And basically every caster who's ever casted anything except for me will be casting.
Hey, to be
man.
fair, I can tell you,
moment.
we personally had you on the list as being one of those people.
I know.
We totally had you on the list as being one of those people to come on cast it.
Damn, man.
And people who've never casted before are getting a chance to cast.
Oh, man.
What does that say about your casting?
Hey.
Oh, ouch.
I'm making no
Ouch.
judgments. I'm just depressed. That's all.
Yeah, so apparently both, we're going to go into MLG in a second here, obviously, but apparently both events
I want my moment.
Yeah,
I want my
exactly,
moment!
exactly. We're going to get to Flames moment in a second
I
here.
want to keep going about how hyped I was for Gangi. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, keep going. Yeah.
I like the fact that, all right, first of all, I didn't like the finals of Apex. Like, congrats. Did we
You don't
talk
like
about
that
that?
was-
Was that a
you
recent
didn't like
conversation
the-
with that? Did we talk
the
about
what?
that last show?
It's
No,
coming up.
no, we're about to talk about it. We're about to talk
Okay,
about
but like, congrats to NB, whatever. But,
it. Spoiler.
who was it? It was AFB. Not being a Gangi, I think, is so good. Like, I'm actually really glad that they put in LW Red and KDP because I was, if they had AFB in there, I would have been so sad. But,
AFB
like,
is there.
no.
AF Blue.
AFB is there, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah. They're
AFB
there.
is at Gangi. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Oh my
That's
God.
like the
I
first
got them
team
mixed up
listed,
then.
dude.
They were the ones that just lost to Envy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I predict like a last place finish for them because I'm so
What?
hyped for. Yes.
No,
Yes.
Panthera. They
No,
finished like
I heard
19-12.
Panthera is better than Uncia, and Uncia is really
We're
good.
like arguing about the last place finishers. Come on, guys. I
No, I don't know.
jeez.
I don't actually know if LW Red is good because they didn't qualify for Apex, I think, and I don't know if they qualify for APAC either. But they had some issues. But that team is hype anyway because they have Pine and Awesome Guy. So regardless, you're gonna see some good Overwatch, and I guess even if I don't find Korea super powerful anyway. Like or Lunatic High is really good, and AFB is good-ish sometimes. They didn't do well in the finals, but point being, I'm more excited to see like the new Misfits and the new Rogue versus
Well,
all of these teams that also haven't really had a shot to show up at tournaments, like LW Red and KDP. Like, I don't know. I'm actually really excited to watch. I don't think I'll be able to watch. I'll be at MLG, but
let's
that'd be a
hope.
good day to like take some energy drinks
Let's,
forever.
yeah, definitely. There's very little overlap, so we will be watching like
Yeah.
16 hours of Overwatch. But let's hope that Rogue and Misfits are in different brackets, please. Like, so they're not playing each other in the semifinals or anything like that.
I'm really excited to see Luxury Watch Red for the most part. Just not. I mean, because obviously we know the players, right? But the fact that they didn't qualify to Apex when we saw them as being like this giant super team all of a sudden,
Right.
like being an amazing, like one of the best Korean teams, and now finally get a chance to like prove themselves a little bit more. That's gonna be also really cool to see. And even
Oh.
Tvix saying that Panthera is better than Uncia, or isn't better than Uncia. Never
About
mind.
to read Tvix's statement here. Panthera isn't better than Uncia.
I didn't think so, but
LW
someone
Red
argued with
is
me like
debatable better than LW Blue, but the qualifiers to get into Apex were on 60 hertz monitors. So
no, I thought Uncia was better, but someone had like a really long argument with me the other day about how much better Panthera was. But again, I thought KDU was good.
Yeah, it'll be interesting
I
to
mean,
see.
he's even saying that Panthera choked hard during like the groups, like compared to scrims. So maybe Panthera actually is still really strong. Just
Maybe they have a better Roadhog and a better Diva.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we were just talking about Lunatic High being really good. They didn't look that good like since the meta's changed. So I don't know. Well,
And they're just slow to adapt. I think
Yeah.
that you just gotta give it some time.
well, anyways, yeah, it's going to be an epic event, obviously. And then why don't we just move into MLG and some big news from MLG Vegas, which is Flame will be working his first analyst desk for just any big Overwatch event. So congratulations, man! Excited?
I'm a little intimidated, but yeah, I'm excited. Like excited's there, but it's also like hidden underneath a little bit of fear, intimidation, and like nerves, I guess. I'm definitely pumped though. It'll go away by the
Everybody
time.
remembers their first event, right? Jason, you remember your first event?
Sadly, yes.
What was it?
What was your first event?
Gamescom in 2012, and I remember having this big fuck up moment
there,
where, where Joe Miller was talking about Gambit Gaming for like 5 minutes straight. Then he hands off to me to talk about him, and I say, "Yep," and then he starts talking again because I had no idea what to say. I was not prepared for my first event, but Flame will do better than I did. I guarantee.
Yup.
Yeah, yup. Yeah, so just I guess the talent. They announced the talent, so it's gonna be Huck, Doa, Monty, Mr. X, Chris Puckett, Flame, of course, Golden Boy, Rachel, Stir, and ZP. So a pretty stacked lineup that's going to be in Vegas. It's going to be amazing there. And is Korea going to be before MLG every day? I think so, right? Yeah, Korea will be before MLG every day, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so wake up at like 4 in the morning and then get your fix of Korean Overwatch, and then carry it over until probably 8 or 9 over in the West or in NA over here, and finish
I hope
off.
they host each other and like.
They should. I bet they do. Yeah.
You know, somebody needs to just throw like a European tournament for the other European teams, just so we can get 24 hours of tournaments.
Oh God.
Host each other just continuously.
That's called oversaturation.
Children die. If they watch
Oversaturation.
I want to get Flame's opinion on this. Who's the dark horse of the tournament?
Okay, all right. Let's talk about that.
I would say
we already talked. Didn't we talk about this last week? But go ahead and.
I mean, so like Rise is the obvious
again.
answer, right? Because they come in fresh, and like that team is just a bunch of, I don't want to say pubbers, but they came in from the ladder, most of them, and this is their first competitive game. But I've talked to them, and they are so confident in themselves that I want to see how they perform. I mean, like, NRG should be better now, but that's another question mark. I mean, if you want, like, dark horses, I mean, those two are on one side of the bracket, and on the other side, I wouldn't really call anyone else a dark horse because I feel like the potential to win is there for at least, like, 5 or 6 teams. But I think that the game's going to be really, really even, which is why it's going to be exciting.
I don't think Liquid has a chance.
Weren't you picking Complexity?
Liquid has a chance.
Liquid's been super quiet. Like, they've not
been
really
quiet,
played
but
well.
like a lot of teams have had. It takes teams so long sometimes to figure out what they're doing. Like Liquid doesn't have a play style. Liquid just kind of like adapts on the go every single game. They don't, like when you go up against. Like I'll take like the Koreans for example. When you went up against like AFB, you knew that Arhan was gonna be on Genji every single game, or like FaZe, Arhan's or Shadowburn's gonna be playing Genji, and like Too Easy would be on McCree, and then you kind of expected that, but I feel like Liquid never really did that. So they kind of play this playstyle where they play into other people's playstyles to try to beat them that way. I don't think that I don't know. Getting out of the groups is so hard for some of these teams. Like the groups are like stacked on both sides, and it's such a close call because even Cloud9's having trouble doing well right now. I mean, it's only been a couple weeks as a team and since the patch. So anything can change, but I don't know. I don't know who comes out of that bracket, to be honest with you.
I was thinking about Cloud9 actually, because like the new reformed team, like kind of
on paper they should be good. Well. Yeah,
I'm scared of Shadowburn actually because we know his Genji's really good, but I know he's practiced his Soldier a ridiculous amount of hours as well.
Soldier for them, so it's like
he's not even playing Soldier.
No, it's Zoms, and Shadowburn's like on like the weird off diva role ish. I don't know. They have to figure out what they're doing. I think that you can still run Genji, but you have to play around it so much that they have to literally say screw the meta and just nano boost the Dragon Blade every single fight. But that's what I mean. Like, it depends on which teams decide to play their own game and then which teams decide to try to force the meta on themselves. Because, like, again, I don't think this is a meta for C9 because I don't think anyone thinks of Surefour and Mendo as the Roadhog and Diva players, So it's kind of that tournament's in a weird spot where I don't really know who's going to come out. But I would expect Rise to come out because of how they view the game very differently than a lot of the teams, I think.
So I think we ended the conversation last time. Is NVS going to win?
I hope not.
I was thinking they weren't, but man, they looked.
I mean, they
looked pretty damn good.
Accounts, like they should. When you just based
if you have to choose a team, like maybe you choose Envious, but I really think like FaZe, Cloud9, Fnatic could all just get in there. And you're talking about Complexity. You're talking about Rise Nation, also maybe going to turn some heads. Basically every team here, 6 out of the top 8, I think, are like in contention.
Yeah,
Complexity as well. Like they actually legitimately practiced Somber for a while, so They're like showing willing to try the new hero. Will anyone else? Is anyone else going to play anything other than the standard 3-tank comps that we saw at DreamHack? Like
I think
with
Sombra's
Fnatic and
making an
stuff?
appearance. I think May is making an appearance. I hope that by the end of the tournament, tanks are out of the meta. Because what happened at, what was it? Was it E-League? Where like the teams came in with a set. No. It was E-League where teams came in with like a straight. It was the 3-tank nip comp. Everyone was like, "Oh, this stuff's overpowered. I hate this." And then suddenly you saw Misfits come out with like the Reaper Maze Zarya, and then towards the end it was like Reaper Maze Zarya against like McCree Farah, something else. I kind of hope that happens. I think that that'll be the tournament where that happens, since there's not much else of like big magnitude except for the winter premier qualifiers. But I'm hoping someone finds out the counter by the time we get there, and then by the end of the tournament, people are countering their counter.
Who knows? There could be a patch before then.
It might get
Symmetra. Oh my god! Symmetra makes an appearance that weekend.
If Symmetra does happen, I hope it's like today, because it's getting close, right?
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Holy crap! That would shake things up big time. If it's the same, if it stays the same 3-tank thing, I think MBS and Fnatic like easily favorites for this tournament. But,
yeah, MBS has it down to like a science.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they look so tight, like in the finals, which we'll talk about in a second. That these other teams probably still trying to figure things out aren't going to beat them.
You have to like become a diva player and like become one with the hog. Like, there's only a few players that have like become one with Roadhog. It's like Harblu, Himsy. What's his name? Evermore. Taimu has definitely become one with Roadhog.
I can't believe you didn't say Taimu first. I mean, Harblu obviously is amazing.
Well, you don't think Taimu when you think Roadhog.
You do now.
What do you think of him then? Like nowadays,
or you think Widowmaker?
I know, but he hasn't played Widowmaker.
Even if Tivik became like one of the best Roadhogs next week, like you wouldn't think like, oh, Tivik the Roadhog. You know,
that's true.
True.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we move on? And actually, no, we had to talk about MGA. So MGA is happening this weekend. And Ben, you want to talk about MGA a little bit?
Yeah. We're talking about all these events next weekend because they're a little bit bigger prize pool, a little bit more teams. But we've actually got a medium tier event this weekend. It's the MGA tournament. It's going to be run by Gfinity, based out of London. It's at the Gfinity Arena, which is their physical location that they own out there. So if you're based out of the UK, you can definitely head on over and visit this weekend. And it's including 4 teams: Fnatic, Rise Nation, NIP, and Kongdu Panthera. So a lot of the teams that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks, or actually next week after that, except for NIP. NIP's not going to have any representation, but it's for $75,000. Casters are going to be first time appearance for Sideshow, which is pretty cool. If you're from the TF2 scene, you definitely know this guy as one of the big personalities who will, I think this is his first major casting gig, commentating alongside Uber. And then you got ZP and Hexagrams, and Zoe will be hosting the desk. So it should be a fun, entertaining broadcast all weekend long. You can find all the info on Liquipedia. That's where I go for everything, by the way. If you haven't checked out
we've
Liquipedia
been looking at
yet,
the whole time.
you definitely should. It's got all the info. Pretty easy.
Sideshow, man.
Yeah. I'm sure you're excited.
The legend of Sideshow.
Yeah.
That's going to be a really good casting duo. I think people are going to be surprised, actually. He hasn't casted this game yet, but he has one of those like personalities that you can never hate, even when he's on your nerves. So he has like a very good...
fun kind of...
He has like a very good aura about him.
Okay, that's good. That's always a good attribute to have as a caster.
I can't wait to see NIP and Fnatic play against Korean teams.
Yeah, me too.
Well, potentially NIP if they beat Res Nation.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really wanted NIP to go to Korea, like I am Korea, to actually just see how they play against the teams. But I mean, this is still going to be nice to see them up against Panthera.
I mean, I'm excited to see Panthera too, because I don't really know how good they are, I guess. Because they weren't they didn't have like a good showing at Apex, and then the meta changed, and it's been a little while. So
yeah,
I'm also excited for Rise because this is like their first event, I think.
In a while.
This is their first event. No, I think this is like their first live thing.
Oh, live thing. Oh, okay. Wait.
Yeah, they're a young team.
Play another one? I thought they played another LAN.
Rise was at.
They were at
OW Open, right?
Yeah, they were at
they?
Gamescom.
Oh, God, I can't remember.
Yeah, they were. They had a good showing. They had a good showing at one of the LAN events.
No, I
wasn't
don't really
it?
see them as playing in any.
No?
Cloud
Maybe
66, Carbon
maybe they-
Masters, Alienware, Carbon Masters, DreamHack
Let me see.
qualifiers, Alienware, MGA qualifiers, Ghost Suit Weekly.
Yeah,
I
I,
mean,
think
the way
they
that-
barely didn't qualify for OW Open. I think maybe
they lost to that team with XC, right?
No, that's the tournament they beat Complexity, right? And
Yeah,
that
they beat
surprised
Complexity,
everybody.
that's what you're thinking
right.
of.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
beat them,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then but then they still wound up. They had to do it again, right? It was or something happened.
Yeah, then they
There was
had to
that
go.
group
They win.
happened.
Yeah, win to the losers bracket.
It was
and then,
Method. Yeah, it was Method. It was with like Xretzy and all of them.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that'll be exciting for them to get a chance to play in their first LAN.
Yeah,
I wonder if they're gonna get
young.
nerves. Like Landers, like even I know Envious had it at the Overwatch Atlantic Showdown. That's why they performed not too well. It's gonna be tough. I mean, I don't know how big the crowd's necessarily gonna be, but still to be like on a stage, to be physically next to the person that you're playing with is gonna be hard.
It's definitely a lot different. I like it. I like how you lead it off with it's a mid-tier event. It's like $75,000. So
Oh, it's only
I guess
4 teams though.
Yeah, it's only 4 teams.
If it's
That's
like
a lot
I
of
feel
money
like
for
this
4
and
teams.
DreamHack in my head go together. I don't know why, just because like the size, it's like
Yeah,
smaller.
same
amount
price
of
pool.
tournaments, Yeah.
I mean, the payout's
Similar.
probably better per team here.
It is actually.
It's
DreamHack
crazy.
Was 50K.
Exactly. I mean, at least the fourth and third place team get quite a bit. Yeah, so great opportunity for them. I think Nip too. I wish Nip would get more opportunities to show, what they can do against the top teams because, they're the ones that came up with a 3-tank originally, and they're the ones that are still I think the best team, one of the best
This
teams.
is their
that run
patch.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
They were made for this patch.
They're made for this patch, and they haven't got a chance to make it to a lot of these tournaments. Or get
Yeah, it
invited
sucks
to
for
them.
them that they're not.
Yeah.
They're not in either of the tournaments next weekend, but at least they're playing this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, why don't we before we actually go into event results, I'll give a quick shout out to folks listening to the show on iTunes or just podcasts in general. If you do want to help out the show and you do listen to it on iTunes, one thing you can do is leave an awesome rating for us because it helps with the SEO for when folks are looking for Overwatch podcast. They can find it much easier on iTunes. And all you do, just go leave a 5-star review, leave a quick message, and that accomplishes it. So if you can,